Music and clapping. Hey, come on, come on. Hey, dun, 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 dun. Hey, come on, come on. Listen. Hey, y'all, hey, y'all. It's your girl, Coach Q. Hey, come on. On the ones and twos. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, come on. I'm excited to be with y'all today for episode 17. Come on, dance it out. If you're joining me from Facebook, you can't hear the music, so you got to dance to the music of your own beat, all right? And thank you so much to my online viewers from YouTube. Thank y'all so much. Don't forget, more importantly, like, follow, and share. I'm your girl, Coach Q. What chatted up with Coach Q, and I'm in the house today, and I got my baby Jordan on the ones and twos. Give it up for yourself, Jordan. Yay! He did the hand claps. If you're on YouTube, you heard the hand claps. So y'all bear with me. Jordan was a quick learn, and hey, it's he and I today. I am so excited to be here with y'all, and I would be remiss if I didn't take a second. Thank you for the heart already from Facebook. I would be remiss if I didn't tell y'all what happened last weekend. I know I wasn't on air, but I was celebrating, okay? We had an opportunity to be at the 10th annual Achi Magazine ceremony. It was Queendom, all right? I mean, Jordan with the claps. He getting there, y'all. He getting there. Yay. I'm so proud of him. But listen, we were all queens there. First and foremost, shout out to all those who were nominated. Shout out to all those who showed up. And a special congratulations to all those who have won. Yours truly won as well. And I was voted Achi Magazine in this area Positive Social Influencer of 2024. Listen, I was so excited to win. And some people was like, how did you catch the recording? Every category that I was nominated for, y'all, I had that camera ready in case they called my name. And this was my 5th award. And again, I'm humbled, I'm honored. And I thank you so much for nominating me. For those who have family, friends, and loved ones who are making a difference in the community, from philanthropy to podcasts, to psalmtrists, to models, to singers, to commentators, whatever it is, I challenge you to go to Achi Magazine's website and go ahead and nominate that special person. And then if you are a nominee and you receive that information, you have to accept your nomination, and then you have to be there in person to win, all right? It is a special honor, and it's like almost like bragging rights or whatever. And it just feels good. So they always stress that it isn't a popularity contest at all. But again, we do want to make sure that we're making room for those individuals in the community who is making a difference, okay? So that's Achi, ACHII Magazine, and they're out of Atlanta, Georgia, and they really promote sisterhood. So even though it is owned and operated by primarily African-American women, it is not for African-American women only. It's for women of all ethnicities, all right? So y'all keep that in mind. Everything good, Jordan? All right, he's on the set. So y'all, this is an interactive podcast today. And again, it's episode 17, and it's entitled Life After Life. Now, when coming up with that title, I was like, people are going to be like, what do you mean life after life? I don't believe in an afterlife, like we come back as like a caterpillar or a dog or anything like that. But when I say life after life, what have we done to prepare those who will still be living after our life has ended, right? Or how are we, those who are here after we've lost loved ones, what have we done to prepare ourselves? So just think about that for a moment. Please make sure you get your questions out there. I have a lot of information that I'll share with you today, all of that. Now, ladies, it probably is going to be mostly you here on the podcast today, because I know a lot of individuals, husbands or significant others or whatever, is watching the game. All right. So tell them don't be disturbing our little podcast time. Also, I am going to give a special shout out to the Scorpios. Jordan, clap for the Scorpios. Let's clap. But the Virgo's going to give them crickets. Let's give them crickets from the Virgos. The Virgo's going to be like, or well, let's give them the womp womp, Jordan. No, I'm just joking. But I had an amazing weekend celebrating my little sis, fit sister, and friend Tremaine. It was her birthday. And yes, y'all, she took up the whole weekend. And if you saw her on a video or camera, it was her. Also, on yesterday was my fit brother and friend Mark's birthday. Mark Hutz, Scorpio, choreographer, king, or whatever. His birthday was yesterday. So again, we celebrate them. And y'all know that my best friend, Katrina, who is now recently married, her birthday was at the beginning of Scorpio season. So now that we got, and oh, how can I forget my nephew, Judah, his birthday is today. He turned 7. Jordan on them hand claps, Renee. I don't know if y'all hear it, Stacy, y'all, but y'all got to come up on the hand claps because Jordan ain't missing none of the hand claps at all. So if you're joining us, please say hi, hello, or something while we're about to get started. So again, life after life. What does that mean? First and foremost, I want you to ask yourself the question, what have you done to prepare your family if for some reason you transition to heaven today or tomorrow or unexpectedly? What have you done to prepare them? Now, this is a conversation that maybe not many viewers will come on. My older children don't like talking about it. My mom doesn't like talking about it. But the reality is, y'all, we have to prepare for life after life. Me, again, being a recent widow, like it's not just about insurance. I am grateful that I had insurance for my late husband, Cage, but it's so much bigger than that. It's so much bigger than that. And we're going to really compartmentalize the discussion today. So my first question is, again, what have you done to prepare yourselves in your family if for some reason one or somebody else would transition? So while you're thinking about that, I do want to thank our sponsors again of Chatted Up with Coach Q, none other than Breathe Easy Fitness Studio, Breathe Easy Foundation. Thank you so much for your support. We are able to continue to come to you week after week because of the support of those organizations. And yes, I'm the owner and founder of them. But again, though my foundation is 501c3, and so how we spend our money and who we support has to be documented. And of course, Breathe Easy Fitness Studio is a business. And so therefore, I try to make sure that I oversee and monitor the finances accordingly. And so just as I give to other businesses and organizations, I definitely support my own. You may say, what is Chatted Up with Coach Q? Chatted Up with Coach Q is where we have everyday conversations about the ish that we as adults go through. And y'all, let me tell y'all, I wish I could tell y'all my business. I can't. I've already talked to Jordan in the car. He gave me a little bit of advice. But y'all, it's some ish that we go through as adults. And I'm telling you, I'm like, Lord, I can't make some of this stuff up. But just the same, if you have a topic or an idea, or even if you yourself want to come join us on Chatted Up with Coach Q, make sure that you email us, right? We'll put that email address in the comments. I don't know if any of my moderators are on. I know they're not on set today, but if any of them would join, if they would put the email address to Chatted Up with Coach Q. And then if you're viewing via YouTube, please make sure that you put any topics that you have there. I am monitoring YouTube. I am not close enough to the Facebook screen to see it, but I do have my phone here should you have any questions. So what I want to do first and foremost is talk about 10 things everyone should know about planning, first of all, like your memorial service. Who wants to talk about that? But literally, I was talking to a good friend of mine, Miss Odessa. Hey, Miss Odessa. Facebook, y'all can't hear it, but YouTube is hearing all the claps. Miss Odessa talked to me about how just last week or so, a couple of her friends transitioned to heaven unexpectedly. One was on a plane on their way to see their great-grandchild. Another one was in church. So, y'all, as sure as babies are born, we shall surely die. And so I just want to make sure that I'm giving some information that may be helpful. And the reality is a lot of people don't have insurance, y'all. We do not have insurance. I wouldn't say we, but some don't have insurance, or some only have insurance on their jobs. And if that's all you can afford for right now, then I understand. But if you're like me and you transition from your employer or your place of deployment, then what insurance do you have? So I say that to say, keep that life insurance on your job, notably. but also get you some type of term policy that will last you, I don't know, to 75, even though we are living a lot longer, but at least you'll have some if for some reason something happened unexpectedly, because we know that whole life insurance is a little more expensive. And so we prepare for all those things. We pay car notes, car insurances, all of that, but we don't have life insurance. And some people be like, well, I'm gone then, but we don't want to leave it to families. Families right now are still paying for funeral expenses for loved ones who've transitioned years ago. And we just don't want to leave that unsettled. So here's 10 things you should know first and foremost. And then we're going to talk about things you can do. So if you have some recommendations as to what people could do with their last will and testament, please don't hesitate to put it in the comments. Again, if you're on YouTube, I am monitoring that. So let me go here. You want to first make sure that you're able to make informed decisions, meaning why you're in your right mind. Many times, if things happen unexpectedly, and I get teary-eyed because my prayer used to be, Lord, if I could just make it to my kids get older, where they're able to take care of themselves. And those children that I was talking about are 31 and 27 right now. But I have Jordan, who's 9. Sorry, Jordan. He great fine. Wonk, wonk, wonk. Oh, he great crickets because you're not 9. How old are you, Jordan? Jordan is 11 and he's in the 6th grade. And y'all, Jordan did so good his first quarter in the 6th grade. Yay. But here's one of the first things. Be informed about the choices available. So you got to know, how do you want to be remembered? My late husband, again, I keep saying, if I could do things differently, would I? 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. But I know his funeral expenses was upward in $30,000. That's a lot of money to spend on somebody who's not here. But I wanted to celebrate him, y'all. That's my baby. But as I look back, I wouldn't want my children having to spend that much money when they could utilize it for things because they're still living, right? And so how do you want to be remembered? And one of the things I talk about very often, if you know me, by the time I go to heaven, transition to heaven, if you ain't saved, I don't want nobody getting planned to get saved at my homegoing service. So I don't want a bunch of preaching. I just want music, singing, people sharing of the good news, of my life. And that's what you want somebody to be able to do, is share that good news. So you have to remember, we don't need it right now. You want to ask yourself, how do you want to be remembered? And so you can go ahead and put those things down. Some people put it in writing, they get it notarized, or they go to court and get all that stuff officially noted. That is a good way to do it. But you can also do a recording or do a live video. Get your iPads out, get your iPhones out, get your Androids out and do a video. And then even you can post it to YouTube privately and give the access link to your family or whatever you want to do. But you want to put down somewhere what you want to do with your stuff, y'all. And it's not just about the money. Y'all already know how families can become divided, but it's not just about money, but other things that you want done. So how do you want to be remembered? And like I said, record your wishes. So how you want to be remembered is number 1. Record your wishes is number 2. Record the things you want. I don't know why I feel like super emotional. Sundays are always hard because it was a day Cage, Jordan, and I would do our family time. So y'all, please excuse me. So talking about these things, of course, tug on my emotions. But many people think that they've taken care of everything just by talking to one person, but you want to make sure that instructions is down. And so my one of my best friends, Sharika, hey, boo thing, she's because Jordan auntie, she is the person who is kind of my representative. So my children won't have to do anything. So she has all my account information. She knows about all my insurance policies, all my credit cards, all my income in, money out. She has access to everything. And when you're giving somebody that sort of access, you have to trust them, right? So just keep that in mind. But I do have that available. And then my kids can kind of lean on her. And so what makes my situation that I'll use kind of a good example is because I own a business, I own a nonprofit, a home, multiple vehicles, all that other stuff. And so I wouldn't want my kids, and hopefully they wouldn't, like fussing over who would get what and family and who would get stuff at the studio. And so she already knows, Lord, the studio, I own Breathe Easy Fitness Studio, but not the building, right? So I always say, I noted, everybody know all the equipment in there, give it to my current students. They can have it. They can split it up. Whatever is not split, we will sell, and the proceeds will go back to Breathe Easy Foundation, right? So that's an example of me articulating what I want done with it. Breathe Easy Fitness Studio can continue and can go down to, like I said, like a Sister Kiki, if she wants it. My ask is that Breathe Easy name remain the same, and then she can be able to move forward. Ain't no big money like stored away or anything in Breathe Easy, but it is a place of refuge. So we're not just there working out. We are a family. And so that's part of it. But when you think about your clothes and your shoes, and people be like, who wants to worry about all of that? But y'all, those are notable things. Your family may not know what to do. And there's some individuals that still have their loved ones' clothes and shoes kind of stored away when somebody could be benefiting from it. So I'd be telling them, just give everything away. Those within my circle, whoever can't fit it, you can go ahead and have a yard sale, and the proceeds, again, go back to Breathe Easy Foundation. Those are the things that I want to talk about. I don't want my kids trying to figure out what to do with all of that. With my house, I made it very well known. Sell the house, split the proceeds among my children. And then some people's like, leave the house in the family. Me and my kids, we ain't grow up in the house. There's no like special memories in this townhouse, nothing like that. Ain't no need of trying to decide and who doing what, who paying the taxes, who keeping it clean. Sell it, split the money. All right. Those are things that you want to call out. So again, be informed about your choices, record your wishes. Number 3, talk about it with your family and incorporate their wishes. So when I begin to have these conversations with my older sons, they first of all don't want to talk about it, but what are their wishes? What do they want? Because sometimes they want like a whole funeral service and they want to be able to see the body. I want to be cremated. I know that's like harsh. It was like, who? Like, cremate me. And I'm not saying you got to keep, my ashes in your living room and all of that other stuff. I don't know, like sprinkle them on the James River. I'm not tied to it. But because I'm an organ donor, I want them to take everything out of me that is usable for somebody else to live. And this body is nothing but dust anyway. So y'all know those type of examples. Sometimes if you don't have that noted, your loved ones could, they may not get you cremated. Because they were like, I ain't burning my mama, my daddy, my grandma up. Y'all, it is our responsibility to move forward with the wishes of our loved ones. Decide on the final disposition. So whether you choose a traditional burial, a mausoleum, entombment, whatever you choose, you have to make sure that falls within what your wishes are. Again, I wanted a mausoleum for Cage, and that's where he is. And for some reason, if I don't get remarried, the size of it is large enough where if I'm cremated, they can take a portion of the ashes and store it in the same area or the same entombment that he is in. And so it's things like that you will want your family to know. Again, y'all, just a hard discussion. Hey, Karen. Hey, Minister Karen. So those things are hard, right? And then I could be in my 80s, 85 in the house, and what the kids to do with it. Listen, if I get too old, I told my kids, don't hang on to the house. Sell a house. Sell a house so you can help take care of me. And I can move in with you and your wife. Jordan gave me a thumbs up. Number 5, don't be afraid to ask about prices. Y'all, it is expensive to die. That's probably a little harsh, but everything costs. I just told you my late husband's funeral was upward of $30,000. And where his mausoleum is, he's on, what is he, 3rd or 4th up? Like he's not, the higher up they go that you can't reach is cheaper. The lower to the ground they are is more expensive because you have more access to them, like putting flowers and all that other stuff. If they're all the way up, you have to use a ladder and different things like that. And obviously if they're buried in dirt, but we get all fancy. And when you think about it, they're gone. But just the same, I didn't want him in the ground. I don't know if that was just because, but I just didn't. And so make sure that you don't be afraid to ask for prices. The next thing is consider planning and preparing for your arrangements. See, like how many people have written their obituary? Oh my gosh, I get so emotional thinking about it. That's one of the hardest things that families have to do is write your obituary. So what would you want to be? How do you want to be remembered? You know what I mean? And they be like, no, he was called Billy. No, he was called Lionel. I don't know. But in a program I was in at Capital One, it was called Magellan, and we had to write our own obituary, right? And I felt like it was odd at first. But then when I could write about me and what I would want people to say, it was actually freeing. I went through all sorts of emotions. So think about doing that. Who would you want to do your service? Where does that look like? What does that look like? Why insurance may not be enough. And so sometimes people have insurance just to bury them, not for people then to go get houses and cars, but make sure that however you wish to have your final wishes carried out, that your insurance would be enough coverage for it. There's also options that you have where you can pay for that stuff up front. Some husband and wives have already done that. Notably, if your loved one is in the military, y'all, there are benefits that the military can help with. So making sure that you're not spending your insurance policy on things that the military may go ahead and provide. That's very helpful. Find out ahead of time what government benefits you are eligible to receive. Right? So when my husband transitioned, I remember going to Social Security and they said, you get $250. I was like, $250? They never said dollars. They just you qualify for $250. And I'm thinking, comma, 000. Y'all, literally it was $250 to help with funeral expenses. And by the time I got it, he was already buried. But I still took that $250 and did. But what I didn't know is because of my income that I still qualified for benefits for Jordan. So it's things like that. And I wasn't necessarily involved in my late husband's. He got Social Security benefits because of disability. But of course, because Jordan is a minor, he'll get benefits because of his dad's employment. And I thought because of my income, it was income based. It isn't. So I'm able to receive death benefits for Jordan because he was a dependent. My husband worked and was in the military and all of that. So those are good things to know. I had no idea. And number 10, speak with your local dignity memorial provider. So who would you want to cover you? Y'all, this is great. And you don't have to be 75 to talk about this. Young folk are transitioning to heaven. Stuff happens. Know what you want to do. Know what you want to do. This is going to sound like, oh my gosh, she's talking about that. But let me have a conversation out loud. And keep in mind, Jordan is here. For some reason, I don't make it to 120, which God has promised. I don't know if I want to walk around here. Jordan looked like 120, right? But say if I don't make it, I unexpectedly transition to heaven. And Jordan's still here, but he's a minor. Unfortunately, if he unexpectedly transitions or we together, I haven't noted that not just I'm an organ donor, but so is Jordan. So Jordan would be a child organ donor. Did y'all know that children can be an organ donor? Go ahead, Jordan. You can put it. He's clapping, see? He wants to be an organ donor as well because there are children who need hearts. There are children who need lungs and livers. Kidneys can be taken from a child and given to an adult. I don't know how many of y'all knew that, but that can happen as well. And so I try to make sure that, Jordan knows about that as well. And it was his decision. Hey, do you want to become an organ donor? And he notably said it. And of course, when he gets old enough, he can, make sure that his ID consists of that. Y'all, this tea hot, so if it burn my lip, you won't see me. So give me a second. Don't do nothing, Jordan. Be quiet. If you on YouTube, you hear the wonk wonk. It's so hot, but it feels so good, y'all. My tea and my Coach Q cup. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Shout out to Lisa who made my Coach Q cup and some other things that she's making for me. So again, I have that information available. If you're local, you can stop past the studio and get that. The next thing I want to cover is helping yourself at your time of loss. Helping yourself at your time of loss. Here's what somebody said. I seem to be falling apart. My attention span can be measured in seconds, my patience in minutes. I cry at the drop of a hat. Feelings of anxiety and restlessness are my constant companions. Rainy days seem extra dreary. Sunny days seem an outrage. Other people's pain and frustration seem insignificant. Laughing, happy people seem out of place in my world. It has become routine to feel half crazy. I am normal. I am told. I'm a newly grieving person. And this was anonymous. Y'all, I can't explain it. It'll be 2 years in February that Cage transitioned to heaven, and some days it feels like yesterday. We decide our day. Thank you, Dr. Moss, for reminding us of that. But we decide our day. You got to go to the bathroom. Jordan has to go to the bathroom so we won't get any wonk. Can you go under the camera? Ain't kids something else, y'all? He'll be up there playing that game for 4 hours and will not use the bathroom. But now, since he go all the way low, now since he got to work on the ones and twos, is it ones and twos when he directing stuff? He got to go to the bathroom. He just fell on the floor. But anyway, make sure that you help yourself as well. If you have lost a loved one, there's therapy out there. There are groups out there. And you got to decide what worked for you. Admittedly, some of these groups were just... And I'm not judging. I'm just saying some of these groups was like, for me, was just too super, I don't want to leave the house. And again, that may be some of you based on your loss, but that wasn't my testimony. And so I tried to make sure that I was able to bring joy. So those are things that you want to decide on as well. How would you help yourself during the time of loss, especially when it comes to like your parent, your children? We never think about those things, but those things are happening. Life after life, y'all. You want to make sure. I told my kids, don't pack stuff up in no boxes and put it in the garage. For what? What's going to happen? It's just going to sit there and take up space. Give that stuff away. But that may not be your wishes. So you got to make sure. One of the things, like I said, that I really want to encourage people to do is make a video. And it may seem odd or it may seem out of place, but make a video. Make a video for your grandchildren. I've made a video for my grandchildren, the ones I know and those to come, or my great-grandchildren. So they'll be able to watch it and I'm gone. And then they can see me while I still got most of my teeth, right? But I got a message to them. I got a message to my children. For some reason, not transition. So y'all, you can do all of that. So not just about your funeral plans, but give them a message. What would you want to remind them of? If something was to suddenly happen, people can't prepare for their goodbyes. They can't. One of the last conversations I had with Cage was, why am I getting this notice on my phone that cable is due? And he was like, I got cable. It's going to be paid. And so you want to make sure all those things are in place. And as the widow, y'all, I couldn't just go to Bank of America and get all his money out. I had to wait, right? There was a lot of stuff I had to prove. When I went to get the vehicles that was in his name switched over, they were like, what about his kids? Like, I couldn't just get it switched over as his wife in the state of Virginia, at least. And I'm like, his kid is 9, because Jordan was 9 at the time. And yeah, he had adult children. However, Dash, I was like, listen, I bought that truck. I bought that stuff. Blended families, you just got to know. And y'all, when you marry into a relationship where people have adult children, that's another thing. And I know y'all ain't going to really want to talk about that, but those things have to be spelled out. So for some reason, if and when I get married again, I don't want some new husband thinking because now he my new husband, he get everything and my children don't. So, and I don't want my children to think they get everything and the husband don't. Y'all get what I'm saying? So I had adult children by Cage, right? And then, of course, it was Jordan and Cage. But I had to make sure if something were to happen to me that my husband and my child was still able to live the life that they needed to live. And of course, you know, my grown children got something, but my idea or my purpose was really to make sure that my husband and my kid, Jordan, you know, had what they needed. So all those things can become so messy. Y'all know funeral time and when somebody died is always messy. Everybody fussing over this, and they want the jewelry and they want the car and they want this and they want that, and that's just stuff. But it creates so much dissension. Hey, Ms. Val, thank you so much for joining. I need to have a deeper conversation with my family. I had to remind them that my sorority, what is that? Paraphernalia has to be, disposed in in a proper manner. Okay. I never knew that, Valerie. Y'all hear that? So those that are a part of sorority, you just can't just go give it away to the Goodwill because somebody could be on the corner wearing y'all colors and they're not even a part of it. That is very interesting. So thank you so much for sharing that. So if you're watching on Facebook, one of our viewers from YouTube talked about even her sorority paraphernalia can't just be, I guess, put out on the curve. There's a way that it has to be disposed of. And we have to have these conversations, y'all. We have to have these conversations. And it's not a conversation that we want to have, but you should have the conversation. One of the ones that I know that is really, really big is not that just if you die or transition. What about if you become incoherent? And what that means is, thank you, Jordan, is for some reason you're not able, to make the decisions on your own. Then what? Or if they have you on some type of breathing support, right? What does that mean? How long would you want to be up there? I'm telling my kids, don't pay them hospitals all that money. Now, if they can do something to save me, save me. But don't have me going up there and you don't know what else you can do, y'all. So I want to make sure that you're able to help yourself. So again, at Breathe Easy Fitness Studio, we have information on that as well. Last, but certainly not least in this conversation is transportation and relocation protection plans. Those things, if you're out on a trip, you're on a cruise, you're on vacation and all that other stuff, your insurance policy doesn't necessarily fly you back home or all of that. That's expenses that has to be cared for by your family and loved ones as well. Now I have to admit, I ain't out there signing up, to get me, like, if I'm in the Bahamas, how do I get home? Because who knows where you'll transition at. What I am saying is if you're one who travels a lot or you're in, you're going outside the country in areas that may have a high rate of something, danger or whatever, you could be a reporter. I don't know. Chase hurricanes. You want to make sure that you're taking all those things into consideration. And if you have a loved one or you yourself are living alone, make sure that you have a means or a signs of somebody who, knows how, may have a key to your home or knows how to check in with you. And I know that's easier said than done. So I apologize if I make that sound so easy. But there's some time that, we have neighbors and friends that we haven't seen in a couple of days and you go check on them and they've transitioned. All those things. And nobody wants to die alone. But unfortunately, sometimes that stuff happens. So just know that there are services that our local police department, fire department offer where they can do wellness checks on your loved ones. So I challenge you to make sure that you are checking on your, obviously, more senior or more aged loved ones. And even if you got family and friends, or if you have family and friends who may live alone, that you're taking that time to check in on them as well. Thank you, Karen. Karen said, yeah, death can create so many problems between families if you don't have your wishes laid out. It can, y'all. It really, really can. Again, I was fortunate because, my late husband, I was his second wife. He had been divorced, I don't know, maybe 12 years by the time we got together, and we were married almost 10 years at the time. So a lot of time had lapsed. He had adult children and both of his parents were alive, but everyone did yield the right of way to me. I'm a good wife. I was a good wife, but y'all know that there's some instances where, we got those step parents that may not be as thoughtful. And even though I was there for my late husband and his, and everything, I owned the policies and all that other stuff, I still make sure that I was thoughtful to his parents, to his children that was by his first wife. And obviously positioning Jordan, who's a minor, Now I made sure whatever I was giving him, that's in savings, that of course he has access to. And my children and things of that nature. So again, we don't want to just create problems, y'all. And again, this is a tough subject to talk about. So what's my quick recap on life after life? And then we'll move on to our second topic. And my quick recap on life after life is make sure that you know what you want to do. Have the conversations. More than anything else, get enough to bury you. Get enough to bury you. Now, if you are any credit card owner, organization, banking person, which I was, don't get mad at me at this next statement. Well, if you go to probate court is going to pay off all your debts. I'm just going to call that out. If you go to probate court, they're going to take all that money and they're going to pay it back. But please know that these businesses and organizations and banks and credit cards, they have insurance. So I always wanted all my bills like kind of paid off to zero. But if for some reason I don't want my kids taking stuff that they can live off of and go paying all these credit card companies back, which I don't owe any of them. But I say that to say, they do have death benefits out there. So let it be utilized, right? If you're out there, don't be trying to get a car that your mama just got 2 days ago, and then you want to keep that car and drive it. No, that car going to have to go back to that dealership. So it's certain things that you can't just stay in the house and be like, okay, I'm going to stay in this house because my mama gone. That's not automatically your house because your mom is gone, especially if there is, there's still money owed on it. So it's just certain things that you need to check into and make sure that you're aware of. And if you don't have kids and things of that nature and you have items that you want to leave behind, you need to go ahead and call that stuff out. Because again, working for a bank, y'all, there's a lot of unclaimed money that these banks hold on to because they can't find loved ones because it was money left in a checking account or a savings account of somebody and they never noted who that stuff would go to. So I don't know, y'all got some money out there, but those are things that y'all should be aware of. So again, hopefully some of the information that I provided you today was helpful. I do have if you like more information, you can go to call 1-800-DIGNITY, 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 and you can get some information about just some steps you can take just to make sure that your family and loved ones are set up for life after life. All right. So Jordan, let's give a hand clap on the information we provided. Now, y'all, a quick transition. I just want to have a conversation about the holidays because y'all know what happens. I'm trying to take this top off without this hot tea. Falling on my lap, y'all, because I'm going to scream. Let me take it off. Okay, here we go. Oh, yes, Lord, because I got to let a little bit of air in there. Y'all see the smoke coming because I want to be able to drink it. So listen, let's talk about the holidays. Y'all know during the holidays, it can be sad. It can be because your loved one's not there. But what we want to do is create memorable moments or think of those memorable moments. So this will be the second Christmas and Thanksgiving without my late husband. And we always eat at my mom's house, but he used to always say, we're going to cook our own food at home. And so we'll do that again this year. But make sure that you're pausing to spend time with your loved ones and your family during the holiday season. And you take moments to celebrate those who may have gone on and create memories. And then use those times to do videos and pictures and voice messages. Because again, those things can be used and played if you were to go ahead and transition on to heaven. So again, those memories, they're just worth it. So I wanted to make sure that I called those things out. But the holidays, again, can be tough. So what I want to let you know is coming up on our episode, the Sunday before Thanksgiving, we want to share some recipes. So if you have a recipe that you would like to share for your amazing pie. I know your pie tastes so good. I know it tastes so good. You would eat the whole thing. If you could, make sure you share some of those recipes, and your recipe could get featured on Chat It Up with Coach Q. And if you are looking for cakes and pies for the holiday season, my sister friend, Shonda Worrell, put it in the notes, Minister Karen, her handle. But y'all, she makes some cakes and pies, okay? I want to make sure that you don't feel like you have to. Go ahead, Jordan. You can clap for her. Thank you. I don't want you to feel like you have to spend all your time in the kitchen. She'll go ahead and make those things for you, and it'll taste real, real good. So, those are the topics I had. I just wanted to make sure recipes for the holidays and life after life. And so while I'll go over an hour for a podcast, if the podcast discussion is over, I'll give time back. So are there any questions that I can answer? Any questions that you have for me as it relates to dealing with grief or navigating single parenthood after the loss of my husband? Dealing with like Jordan. Come here, Jordan. Let me let y'all see him. My baby. My dude got his hair dyed all black and got his retwist. Come on inside. Oh, he there he is, y'all. He got his new fresh big boy glasses and everything, doing his thing. Jordan, thank you so much for being my partner and assistant today. You want to say anything to the people? Oh, I love him. He my dude. No?
God loves you.
Oh, say it again in the mic so they can hear it.
God loves you.
He said, God loves you. Because he know that these times can be rough. And that's what he reminds me of. He knows Sundays are tough for me. And so he reminds me like, Mom, God loves you. God loves you. And that's one of the reasons. I don't know if I publicly announced, I may have, and some people still missed it, that I'm no longer with my organization. Auntie Karen said, hey, Jordan, that I'm no longer with my organization because my peace of mind is more important. Don't be all in front of the camera. My peace of mind is more important than anything else. And I did not want Jordan to have no parents being stressed out just to hold on to an income that if for some reason, again, you died today or tomorrow, they'll, cry and celebrate, but then they move on and they'll replace you. So make sure that you're putting your priority and your time into those spaces that matter most, okay? Because that's what matters. Get your tickets to Wicked. The movie is coming out, and I hear they're selling out fast. So make sure that y'all go ahead and get your tickets for that. And have a good time during the holidays. You eat, have fun, and do all that other stuff, all right? So, peace over everything. There's a t-shirt for that, ain't it, Minister Karen? Peace over everything. There's a shirt. So if you need a tee, also, she can type that in Facebook. Minister Karen, go back and put there and put it on YouTube. Make sure let's support these small business owners. And let me show y'all my t-shirt. I'm going to step away from the mic. Y'all probably can't read it backwards. My t-shirt says, on a scale of 1 to 10, breathe easy. I'm a 26.1. I did my first 26.2, I meant. Thank you, Jordan. I'm a 26.2. I did my first marathon last year. And guess what, y'all? 2025, I am signed up to do another marathon. I don't know who talked me into it. Probably Toya Glover. But I'm signed up to do another marathon. So if y'all want to join the Breathe Easy crew for a marathon or a half a marathon in March, come on and join us. Shout out to TT Gordon. She's going to do her first half a marathon. I think Connie is going to do it. Valerie. Hopefully she's going to do another half a marathon. But if y'all want to join us for the, I almost said one life, one city, all city marathon and half a marathon, please make sure that you sign up. And if you work for places like Riverside and Shipyard, I feel like you get discounts. But stay healthy so you can take care of your organs. And that way, if you're an organ donor, as much as possible, you will be able to give life. So again, don't forget to follow us on all of our social media engine channels, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. I be forgetting about Twitter. But please make sure you follow us. A date will be coming soon for our caregiver I'm Still Standing banquet that is going to be in 2025 that we'll have. And that's going to be a celebratory banquet, again, where we recognize caregivers and that we have an opportunity just to celebrate life and make declarations about us still standing. Y'all know that Breathe Easy Foundation is always looking to have a good time and make sure that we celebrate those who care for those who care for those, y'all. So again, thank y'all for liking, following, and sharing. And if you would continue to celebrate moi, which is your positive social influencer of 2024. And any day now, y'all, that $1 million check is coming. So if you are listening today, tomorrow, or 10 years from this message, and you feel like you want to be a blessing to Breathe Easy Foundation, Breathe Easy Fitness Studio, Chat It Up with Coach Q. Million is spelled MILLION. If it is $1 billion you'll check you like to write, drop the M, add a B. And we laugh about stuff like that, but people are writing checks like that all day long to these institutions and all that stuff. So y'all, again, Jordan playing with his phone, so that's why I ain't get no claps. I ain't get no nothing, y'all. Now. Now he trying to catch up. I ain't get no claps or nothing, y'all, because he played too much. YouTube, if you're watching, that's Jordan. But y'all, thank you again. We are going to exit out of here. Jordan is going to give us some music. And thank y'all so much for joining episode 17, Life After Life. If you don't do anything else, be kind to one another. People are so harsh and they're so mean. And if you can't be honest with anybody else, stay true and be honest with yourself, okay? Do 2 things I always ask you to do. Inhale, exhale. Breathe easy, baby. Until next time, you can go off air for YouTube.